Ryan knew exactly what to do with his money. He just never did it. He had the spreadsheet, color-coded, formula ready, sitting in a folder called Get It Together 2024. He had the budget app with notifications he had swiped away so many times his phone stopped sending them. He had 3 personal finance books on his nightstand, 2 of them half-finished. Ryan was not financially reckless. He was a 38-year-old IT project manager in Columbus, Ohio, earning $82,000 a year. No credit card debt. Student loans paid off at 35. By most standards, he was doing fine. But fine felt like standing in shallow water, not drowning, but not moving either. Every Sunday night, he would tell himself, "This week, I will actually set up that automatic transfer. This week, I will look at my 401k allocation." By Wednesday, the app was unopened and the spreadsheet had not moved. Not because he did not care, because something about the gap between knowing and doing felt impossibly wide. What changed was not his knowledge. It was one quiet shift most financial advice never talks about. And it starts with something as small as a current of water finding its path downhill. But here is what most habit advice gets completely wrong about money. And it has nothing to do with discipline. Here is something that does not get said enough. The problem with most financial habits is not that people do not know what to do. According to a Ramsey Solutions survey, over 70% of Americans say they understand the basics of budgeting, but fewer than a third actually follow a consistent budget each month. The gap is not information. It is friction. We have been told that building good money habits requires willpower, that you need to wake up one morning and just decide to be disciplined. But willpower is a terrible financial strategy. It is like trying to push water uphill. There is a quieter approach. I call it the current. Think about how water moves. It does not force its way through rock. It finds the smallest opening and flows consistently, patiently, without drama. Over time, that gentle flow carves canyons, not because the water is powerful, because it never stops. These 7 financial habits work the same way. None of them are dramatic. None require you to overhaul your life by next Monday. They are small currents, and once they start flowing, they reshape everything. Let me pause here, because the first habit might sound almost too simple to count. That is exactly why it works. Habit 1. The 30-second check-in. Ryan's turning point did not start with a budget. It started with opening his banking app every morning. Just to look. No transfers. No calculation. No guilt. Just 30 seconds of looking at a number. That is it. It sounds ridiculous, but here is what Ryan noticed after 2 weeks. He started making different choices at lunch. Not because he told himself to, because seeing his balance at 7:45 in the morning quietly rewired what felt normal at 12:30 in the afternoon. He picked the $9 lunch instead of the $16 one. Not every day. But enough? This is what behavioral researchers call awareness without judgment. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances found that households who check their accounts at least weekly are significantly more likely to have 3 months of emergency savings than those who check monthly or less, not because checking creates money, because it creates a current, a steady, low-friction flow of awareness that changes decisions downstream. You do not need to do anything with the information. Just let it land. Habit 2. The Tuesday envelope. Ryan picked one day a week, Tuesdays, to move $20 into a separate savings account. Not $200, not a percentage of his paycheck, calculated with a spreadsheet formula. $20. The cost of 2 lunches out. Why Tuesdays? No reason. That was the point. He did not wait for payday. He did not tie it to a milestone. He just picked an ordinary day and made it the day money moved. Every Tuesday. No exceptions, small enough to notice. No amount large enough to miss. After 6 months, $520. Not life-changing, but Ryan told me the number was not the point. The point was that for the first time in his adult life, he had a financial habit that actually stuck, because it never asked him to be someone he was not. Small streams do not announce themselves. They just keep flowing. So if knowing what to do was never the real problem, what was actually stopping Ryan from building momentum? Habit 3. Stack. Do not start. Here is where most financial habits die. The starting. You tell yourself you will start budgeting, and then you have to figure out when, how, with which app, on which device, and by the time you have decided, you are exhausted and it is Thursday. Ryan did something different. He stopped trying to start new habits. Instead, he attached financial actions to things he was already doing. After pouring his morning coffee, before sitting down, he opened his banking app. 30 seconds. Done. After his Tuesday morning stand-up meeting at work, the same meeting every week, he opened his savings app and moved $20. 15 seconds. Done. This is habit stacking. Not a new concept, but wildly underused with money. You are not adding a new lane to your highway. You are letting a small stream join a river that already exists. I be fool. The enough number. This one is quiet but powerful. Ryan sat down one evening and wrote a single number on a sticky note. $4,800 per month. That was his enough. What it actually cost for him and his wife to live comfortably in Columbus. Not luxuriously. Not miserably. Just enough. Rent, groceries, insurance, gas, the occasional dinner out. He stuck it on his bathroom mirror, not as a budget ceiling, as a compass. Every financial decision now had a reference point. Do I need this? Or do I want this because someone on Instagram made me feel like I should? According to Fidelity's 2023 financial wellness study, people who define a specific baseline comfort number report measurably higher financial confidence than those who only set savings goals, even if their income is lower, because goals live in the future. But knowing what enough looks like lives right here, today. The current does not need a destination, it just needs a channel. Remember Ryan's untouched spreadsheet? The one sitting in that folder called Get It Together? He finally opened it again, but this time, he deleted everything except one column. Habit 5. One column, one truth. Ryan stripped his spreadsheet down to a single column. What he actually spent last month, not categories, not projections, not aspirational targets, just the raw number for each week. 4 numbers. That is all. He did not compare them to anything. He did not color code them. He just looked, and for the first time, His relationship with money stopped feeling like a performance review and started feeling like a quiet conversation. There is a difference between tracking your money and watching it. Tracking implies control. Watching implies curiosity. And curiosity is what keeps the current moving. Most people think financial discipline means restriction. But what if the most powerful money habit is simply paying attention without any judgment at all? Abysses? The invisible rays. Here is where things get interesting, especially if you are past 35 and feel like you have already missed the compounding window everyone talks about. Meet Diane. She is 52, lives outside of Richmond, Virginia. Divorced at 49, when she split her 401k through a Q. D. R. O. She was left with $38,000 in retirement savings. At 52, that number felt like a verdict, but Diane did not panic. She called her
Yes,
HR
that works perfectly.
department and
note.
asked one question: can I auto-escalate my 401k contribution by 1% every 6 months? They said yes. She started at 4%. 6 months later, 5%. Then 6%. 3 years in, she is at 10%. And she told me she barely noticed the difference in her paycheck. Each raise was small enough to be invisible. But the cumulative effect? Her retirement balance has more than tripled. Fidelity's data backs this up. Employees who use auto-escalation save 25 to 30% more over a decade than those who set a contribution rate and forget about it. Not because they earn more, because the current kept flowing, quietly, automatically, without asking permission. Diane did not need a dramatic comeback story. She needed a slow current that never stopped. Habit 7. The Sunday question. This is the habit that holds all the others together. Every Sunday evening, after dinner, before the week starts pulling, Ryan sits with a cup of tea and asks himself one question. What is one thing I can let go of this week? Not add, let go. Maybe it is the subscription he has not used since March. Maybe it is the guilt about not maxing out his Roth IRA. Yet, maybe it is the comparison to his college roommate who just posted about buying a second property. This is not about cutting expenses. It is about clearing the channel so the current can flow without debris. Because financial peace is not built by adding more habits, it is built by removing what blocks the ones you already have. Some weeks, the answer is a $12 subscription. Some weeks, it is a belief he has been carrying since his 20s. Both count. The current does not need more water. It needs fewer rocks. If any of this sounds like your own story, the spreadsheets that never stuck, the apps you downloaded and forgot, the gap between knowing and doing, you are not behind. You are exactly where the current begins. Here is what I want you to notice about these 7 habits. None of them asked Ryan to become a different person. None of them required a financial advisor, a 6-figure income, or a perfect credit score. They just asked him to show up. For 30 seconds, $20. One question at a time. The current does not care about your starting point. It only cares that you let it begin. Tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight, open your banking app. Just look at the number. Do not judge it. Do not calculate anything. Just let it land. That is 30 seconds. That is your first current. If someone came to mind while you were watching this, a friend who has been quiet about money, stress, a sibling figuring things out after a big life change, send them this video. Sometimes a different perspective is all it takes to unstick what has been stuck. Next video, I am going to show you the one money rule that old money families have followed for generations. And it is not what financial influencers are telling you, it is quieter than that. And it works.